Kota-kota di Australia menyimpan banyak cerita soal Indonesia yang mungkin belum kamu ketahui. Mulai dari awal sejarah Australia dengan Indonesia, hingga menjadi hubungan diplomatik yang penuh dinamika.
I enjoy the food, I enjoy the people, and I enjoy our history.
Mencari jejak cita rasa dan seni Nusantara.
I just hope that everyone will give Indonesian food a chance. I guarantee that once you try our food, they will love it.
Mencari tahu bagaimana kebudayaan Indonesia memperkaya keberagaman di Australia.
Being the closest neighbor, we share a lot of things.
Mari berkeliling Australia untuk melihat seberapa Indonesianya Australia.
Money is called rupiah in Northeast Arnhem Land, so the Indonesian influence has been there.
Dan bertemu dengan orang-orang yang menghidupkan budaya Indonesia di Australia. Inilah Indonesia Down Under. Welcome to Melbourne, the cultural capital city in Australia. Saya sudah tinggal di sini selama 15 tahun, dan apa yang paling saya suka dari kota ini adalah bisa menikmati pertunjukan dari beragam budaya. Dan hari ini saya nggak sabar lagi untuk melihat band dari provinsi saya berasal, Jawa Barat, yang juga menjadi band rock hijabi pertama di Indonesia, Voice of Baceprot. Yuk kita nonton bareng-bareng. Untuk pertama kalinya, mereka tampil di panggung Australia.
A bit nervous because it's our very first time in Australia, but also excited and proud, of course.
Do you find a similarities between Australian people and Sundanese people, like from West Java?
Usually smile.
Really?
Yeah. Somea. Yeah, we call it somea.
Somea means like very friendly.
Yeah.
How do you feel seeing a hijabi on the stage performing rock band?
Incredible. They were amazing. They had so much energy, and it was just like, as a woman as well, it was like, yeah. We're sorry, sorry. Heck yeah!
I think it was very unique, and I'm glad to see that level of representation. It was very energizing. It was such an awesome set.
I thought they were all top-level performers, and I would love to go to Indonesia to see them live in their element as well and visit their home country.
I didn't know there was like a massive metal scene at all.
Ada sekitar 100.000 orang Indonesia tinggal di Australia, dan banyak dari mereka ikut mempromosikan budaya Indonesia yang kaya raya lewat musik. Salah satunya adalah Yara Irama, yang memperkenalkan musik dangdut di kota Melbourne. Sekarang saya mau ketemu Michael Raditya yang mendirikan band ini setelah bertahun-tahun melakukan riset soal musik dangdut.
Because dangdut is truly Indonesia, and we can celebrate the daily lives from dangdut music. We can dance, we can sing, we can just forget the problems.
Michael bahkan mengajari saya joget dangdut.
Like this? Yep. Just like this?
Yep.
Sekarang kita akan datang ke studio tempat Yara Irama biasanya latihan. Anggota band ini campuran antara orang Indonesia dan ada juga orang Australianya. Why you are interested in dangdut music?
The music is fun, right? And people, this is a great live music city, and people come and have a good time, and we play dancing music, and people go crazy and have a dance. And we've been really lucky to have a mix of people in our audience. We've had Australian people and Indonesian people.
Nah, sekarang kamu udah lihat kan bagaimana dangdut bisa menyatukan dua budaya yang berbeda. Melbourne juga dikenal karena kopinya yang enak. Tapi saya penasaran, ada nggak kopi yang terinspirasi dari kopi Indonesia?
There is like a small little coffee shop there. It's called Warung Kopi, which is it's very common in Indonesia. Warung also means like a small shop or stall. So let's find out.
The thought behind it was like, obviously we want to introduce it in a form that food that can be sort of eaten every day by Australian. Out of the menu, you can see the palm sugar iced coffee. That's a very kind of Indonesian way of drinking iced coffee, and it's selling really well.
Oke, bener. Melbourne terkenal dengan kopinya. Tapi kalau soal makanan Indonesia, juaranya adalah Sydney. Di kota inilah cita rasa dan tradisi Indonesia terwakili dalam berbagai hidangan. Dari rendang, martabak, dan pempek, Sydney ada banyak restoran Indonesia yang menyajikan makanan dari seluruh Nusantara. Salah satu warga Australia yang suka banget makanan Indonesia adalah Nick Molodiski. Saya janjian dengan Nick di supermarket Indonesia yang ada di kawasan Kingsford. Nick ini nggak cuma dikenal karena cinta makanan Indonesia, tapi berani juga mengeksplornya. Dan isi konten di sosial medianya banyak membahas kekayaan cita rasa Nusantara.
Originally, when I first started making content about 10 years ago, there weren't that many Indonesian people here cooking like jajanan pasar. Started sharing those and also finding ingredients for Indonesians in Sydney because it's not that easy.
What do you hope people take away from your content?
Two things. There's a lot of different types of Indonesian food, and also Indonesian food for the most part is quite healthy. I work in the health industry and I think that there are a lot of really good options that people should try to lead a healthy life.
Tapi Nick bilang masih banyak kesalahpahaman soal makanan Indonesia di Australia.
That it's all really, really spicy. I think like you guys can eat like a whole tablespoon, maybe we need half a teaspoon, but we still like it.
Waduh, bicarain soal makanan bikin saya lapar nih. Untungnya, saya sedang berada di kawasan Anzac Parade. Di sepanjang jalan ini, ada banyak restoran Indonesia yang bisa dipilih. Yuk kita eksplor makanan Indonesia di sini. Sebagai makanan pembuka, saya mau empe-empe. Kaget juga waktu pertama kali dengar ada empe-empe di Sydney. Bahkan lengkap ada cukonya juga loh.
We can tell that a lot of curiosity on their face, and then after they order and then they try Indonesia cheesecake, they just love it.
Selanjutnya, kita coba makanan Padang. Pilihannya banyak, nggak kalah dengan di Indonesia. Lihatnya aja udah bikin ngiler.
Pak, say an Australian comes here and they want to try out your dishes. Which would you recommend?
Beef rendang. This one lamb curry always come with the bone. This very popular. This one jackfruit. Young jackfruit.
Yes.
It's very mild. You like the salty fish, Betty?
Yeah.
It's better melon. Very nice.
Okay, cool. Let's try it out.
Oke, ayo tebak. Apa yang saya pilih untuk dessert? Pastinya martabak. Bahkan pemiliknya mengajak saya untuk bikin martabak sendiri.
First step that we have to do is to spread the butter all over. Hopefully, I'm doing this correctly.
I put lots and lots of them.
Oh, lots of butter.
Peanuts.
Peanuts? Yeah. Cool, let's get the cheese. And then the last step is?
The last one is the condensed milk.
Oh, sweet condensed milk.
You just pour on top.
Nice.
Tada! 3 hidangan dari 3 restoran Indonesia yang berbeda. Seru ya melihat gimana restoran Indonesia di Sydney menyajikan makanannya. Tapi ada satu restoran Indonesia yang nggak bisa saya lewatkan. Restoran ini pertama kali buka sebagai toko kecil di tahun 1984. Meski banyak restoran Indonesia di Australia, Java jadi salah satu yang tertua yang sudah buka lebih dari 40 tahun.
How old are you right now? I'm 80 years old.
Ibu Wawan belajar masak di usia muda karena keluarganya dulu sering masak untuk gereja. Hari ini beliau akan bikin masakannya yang paling populer. Javanese fried chicken atau ayam goreng sereh.
I don't understand why they like it so much. Depend on their taste. Use the fresh one and the fresh ingredients, so they like it very much.
So how long will you be cooking?
I don't know, depend on God times. I never know. When God says stop, I will stop.
You don't want to stop cooking though?
No, I still can, because I never tired. I always like to do it, make me happy. Just think about day by day, don't think another thing, just make you happy and do it, whatever you have to do. Yeah, 40 years.
It's a long old recipe ya.
Indonesia adalah salah satu tetangga terdekat Australia. Tapi layaknya tetangga, hubungan kita nggak selalu akrab. Hubungan Australia dan Indonesia pernah berada di titik terendah setelah Timor Leste memerdekakan diri di tahun 1999. Australia pernah menghentikan ekspor hewan ternak ke Indonesia karena dianggap menyiksa sapi dari Australia. Hubungan kedua negara sempat memanas saat pemerintah Australia menyadap telepon milik mantan Presiden Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono, ibu negara, serta sejumlah menteri. Tapi, kedekatan kita juga terlihat dalam beberapa momen, seperti saat ledakan bom Bali dan bencana alam mengguncang Indonesia. Tapi, apa kata Australia soal Indonesia? Cuma ada satu tempat untuk menemukan jawabannya, kota Canberra. Dan saya bertanya langsung ke Menteri Luar Negeri Australia.
This is on, ya, Rafa?
You might need to make it solid. Hello. Hey, how are you?
Menteri Luar Negeri Penny Wong menyatakan ia punya hubungan spesial dengan Indonesia.
I was born in Malaysia. I love Southeast Asia. I've holidayed in Indonesia. I enjoy the food, I enjoy the people, and I enjoy our history.
If there is one thing from Australia that we can learn from Indonesia, what would it be?
Bahasa Indonesia.
Bahasa Indonesia?
Yeah, more of us should speak Indonesian.
Actually, there is also one problem I would say that I would like to ask you. There's been a decrease in interest of learning Bahasa Indonesia.
Well, it's going the wrong way, so I'd say to Australians just to get out and learn the languages of the region. Bahasa Indonesia is so important to us. It always has been, it always will be. We understand that. It's part of our region, it's part of our history, it's part of our future. I think there are differences and sometimes, there are disagreements. And we also always have to engage and talk and be curious to understand, why is this sensitive for you? Why is this sensitive for me?
Apakah Indonesia juga merasakan hal yang sama? Saya jadi ingin ketemu Duta Besar Indonesia di Canberra. Pas siswa Pramono dulu pernah kuliah di Australia.
Yes. And now you become the ambassador. How does it feel?
In Indonesia, we have the term pulang kampung, so back to the old village. Yeah.
Has it been challenging for you as an Indonesian ambassador here in Australia?
Yes, quite challenging. That we are very close, but in terms of knowledge, we are not that close.
Menurutnya, masih ada banyak hal yang harus diperbaiki kedua negara.
My job is to educate Indonesia that, hello, there is a big island in the south called Australia, and Australia also need to educate the public here that we have a very nice archipelago in the south. It's not only Bali.
The fact that in terms of trading, Australia and Indonesia, we are not doing really well.
To make Indonesia more visible to the Australian, we need to do more action, right? Investment is very important, but Australia investing more to UK, Europe, North America, rather than to Asia, because the future of Australia laid with Southeast Asia. No, how can you understand a region if we don't even understand the language of the regions?
Sekarang saatnya bertemu dengan teman lama saya di Canberra. Mbak Afi dikenal dengan masakan Indonesianya yang otentik.
Mbak Afi, how are you?
Dan hari ini, ia mengundang teman-temannya untuk makan siang bersama. Keakraban seperti ini mencerminkan persahabatan kedua negara dan sebagai upaya untuk mempererat hubungan.
As geostrategic tensions rise in our region, for Australia, having a friend like Indonesia, a close friend, is increasingly important. So there's a big push in recent years to try and deepen the bilateral relationship through investment, for example. And I think we can look at that as a sort of Australia's attempt to sort of catch up a little bit and compete with the levels of investment coming in from China into Indonesia. So,
Dan semua yang ada di sini setuju kalau Australia ingin lebih memahami Indonesia, maka penting untuk menambah pelajaran bahasa Indonesia di Australia.
In particular, language study, I think, is something that we could really be investing a lot more in particular in schools and high schools and colleges. And that really helps underpin great education and interest in Indonesia.
Saatnya bertolak ke Perth. Salah satu kota dengan populasi Indonesia terbanyak di Australia. Perth adalah rumah bagi lebih dari 15.000 warga Indonesia. Saya datang ke sini untuk berjumpa dengan beberapa dari mereka.
We're meeting the Chinese Indonesian community in Perth.
Ini pertama kalinya saya berjumpa dengan komunitas peranakan Tionghoa warga Indonesia atau Pertiwi. Tapi rasanya kayak udah kenal lama banget. Saya bahkan diajak main angklung bersama mereka. Jujur, awalnya saya nggak ngerti gimana cara megangnya sih, hehehe. Kalau orang Indonesia bikin acara di Australia, kurang lengkap dong kalau belum joget. Walau acara Pertiwi ini kelihatannya seru, tapi ada anggotanya yang pernah mengalami trauma.
I migrated here in 1997 because I knew already, unfortunately, that the regime would collapse anytime.
Udaya sedang membahas kerusuhan Mei 1998 yang banyak korbannya adalah keturunan Tionghoa. Saat itu, banyak toko milik warga Tionghoa yang jadi sasaran penjarahan dan dibakar. Ada juga yang menjadi korban pelecehan seksual.
Chinese was blamed for the failure of the economy. So then, the riot happened in Jakarta, and that was sad. I was angry.
Seperti Udaya, sejumlah warga Tionghoa memilih pindah ke Perth. Mereka ingin menguburkan identitasnya sebagai orang Indonesia.
I'm slowly giving them confidence. Don't blame the country, don't blame the people, blame the regime and the situation.
Jessica Crook yang meneliti komunitas Tionghoa di Indonesia mengatakan, warga Tionghoa di Indonesia memilih Perth karena populasi diaspora China-nya yang besar.
So having those existing connections would also assist with helping people kind of move over and feel like they can be a part of this kind of broader and very diverse kind of ethnic Chinese diaspora.
Banyak warga Indonesia memilih Perth karena jaraknya yang dekat. Dan ketika mereka sedang mengalami kesulitan di Perth, ada satu tokoh yang paling sering dihubungi. Saya ketemu Ade Skaf yang sudah lebih dari 20 tahun membantu warga Indonesia di Perth.
Sedang menengok sahabat kita, Pak Frankie Budiman. Beliau sedang sakit ya Pak. Saya ingin mengetuk hati semuanya bisa bersama-sama meringankan beban saudara.
Nah, saya mencari gap-gap mana yang belum diambil oleh organisasi masyarakat yang lain, tetapi saya rasa sangat penting karena memang tidak ada yang senang ya kalau ngomongin soal nasib jelek, kematian atau apa. So I have to start somewhere untuk.
Ada juga warga Indonesia yang status visanya tidak jelas dan biasanya minta tolong ke Ade.
Dengan visa yang sudah expired, tentu saja mereka tidak punya hak apa-apa di sini. Kalau mereka misalnya sakit aja kan tidak punya Medicare, gitu. Jadi biasanya orang yang tidak punya visa itu punya ketakutan. Jadi mereka itu akan sangat sulit terbuka.
Ade mengingatkan saya dengan semangat gotong royong yang ada di Indonesia.
Mungkin saja orang Perth ini misalnya ada yang belum ke Indonesia, mereka mungkin akan melihat Indonesia itu dari kelakuan, dari perilaku Anda sehari-hari. So, if you are Indonesian, then be Indonesia, be yourself. And karena mereka akan sangat tertarik ya.
Ngomong-ngomong, tahukah kamu kalau di Perth ada nama jalan yang berbau Indonesia? You always go through Makassar Way, but do you know what it means?
I apologize, I don't know what it means. I've wondered, actually.
Padahal, Makassar adalah bagian dari sejarah Australia dan Indonesia mula-mula.
You're ready for that.
Jauh sebelum kolonisasi Inggris atas tanah dan air yang sekarang dikenal sebagai Australia, sejak 1700 sampai 1907, ratusan pelaut Makassar Indonesia mengarungi samudra menuju pesisir utara Australia, wilayah yang disebut Marege.
Dual marikin ngulangul, mangkatara walwangangul, walkan rali marikin uniwalkan punapi rali marikin.
Saya mendapat kesempatan untuk terbang ke belahan bumi utara Australia. Dan inilah cerita dari Tanah Larakia. Mark Motlop lahir dari seorang ibu berdarah Larakia dan ayah dari Selat Torres. Hari itu di rumahnya di Darwin, ia memamerkan kepiawaiannya membuat sambal belacan.
Can be a real touchy subject sometimes. Like people, you never tell people in Darwin his or her belacan's better than yours. Otherwise, it's World War III.
Di Indonesia, bahan makanan yang terbuat dari udang ini dikenal dengan nama terasi.
I woke up one morning with this terrible smell in the house and my father was cooking this. But as I grew and he cooked, the more he cooked it, the more I got used to the smell and the taste.
Tapi untuk orang Indonesia seperti saya, aroma ini justru bikin lapar.
You want to try it?
Yes, why not?
Just get a bit of giblet out.
Oh, it's even better.
Mark percaya resep sambal belacan yang didapatnya turun-temurun itu adalah salah satu jejak Indonesia di Australia.
If you have a look across the top of Northern Territory, even parts of WA and Queensland, you got tamarind trees. Where they come from? The Macassans. The Indonesian influence has been there, and particularly as a seafarer, they used to travel through the waters, through the Torres Strait, and that's where all our food and influence come from.
Kisah orang Makassar dan Marege yang merekatkan Indonesia dan Australia telah dikabarkan dan telah menjadi subjek penelitian kedua negara.
Even though that story has been told outside of Darwin, mostly, a lot of people here know it, but over there it still is something that part of Australian history that needs to be told.
Sejarawan seni dan kurator Petrit Abazi adalah Direktur Northern Centre for Contemporary Art Australia. Ia baru saja menggelar pameran Tripang yang menampilkan sejumlah peninggalan sejarah warisan hubungan Indonesia dan Australia. Sore hari itu, ia mengantarkan kami menyusuri pantai Darwin.
There's a high chance of stingers.
Oh, stingers,
jellyfish.
yeah.
And crocodile. There's more crocodiles now. Oh. But in the dry season, it's rare to have a crocodile, so we go swimming.
Yeah.
Ia juga berbagi pikirannya soal keunikan relasi Australia dan Asia.
a lot of people say that Northern Australia is really, in many ways, much more part of Asia than Southern Australia. That is not just in a geographic sense, but often in cultural sense. And the fact that just in the Yolngu Mata language, there are 350 words that are borrowed from Indonesian or from Makassar. It's a sign that there were people on these northern coastline shores that were speaking Indonesian. As well as the tamarind trees, there were lots of wells for fresh water. So there are hundreds of wells along the islands.
Perjalanan saya di Darwin berujung di Museum and Art Gallery of the Northern Territory.
This was created early to mid-20th century.
Disinilah semuanya berawal. Dan hubungan itu tidak berhenti sampai di sini.
Dari sejumlah kota di Australia, kita menemukan uniknya hubungan Indonesia dan Australia. Semuanya merayakan persahabatan kedua negara. Terima kasih sudah menonton dan mari kita menulis babak baru Indonesia Down Under.
My friend, and we are from Indonesia actually. Yes.
Right. Well, obviously this is my take on our.
So how has Indonesia?
Fun fact, I've tried making martabak at home before. It wasn't the prettiest thing ever. Test.
You have to make it easy for letting us.
Selamat ulang tahun, Erwin.
Thank you. It is my birthday.
Yay!